Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Des Naomi. Long time no see. I have spent a little bit of time away from the camera because I have been going through a very interesting self-introspective period. I don't know how to word it any better than that, but I've been thinking a lot about the things I want to do with my life, particularly because what I've learned about art and my talent and my love of art have really changed what I saw for myself up to this point. So obviously you see the title, it's about my improvement over the last month. If you guys want to skip to that, there's going to be a link in the, not a link, there's going to be a little timestamp right here. You can go ahead and skip on, but if you want to hear more about how this has actually affected like what I've been doing, my life, my thoughts, stay here. So basically, you guys know, if you've been with this channel for a while, you know, I really want to be a writer, a screenwriter. And I've been putting kind of all of my time and effort into that. And what I've learned in the past month and a half is that when I always said I wanted to be a writer, it was like half of the story. And I always felt like I was missing something. Yes, I want to be a screenwriter, but it was like, that's not the only thing. There's something else. And I wasn't really sure what that feeling meant until I did my first charcoal drawing. And I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. It's the art. I have loved art ever since I was little. My dad is an artist. He's a painter. So I remember since the time I was like literally as long as I can remember, he's been in our house doing these 8-hour day-long paintings, putting his own artwork all up on the walls, all around the house. So I've always just been surrounded by art and seeing it as a real thing that someone could do, someone could pursue. And I've always loved art. I've always loved drawing, painting, pastels, crayons, literally anything I could get my hands on, I was doing. I never saw myself as an artist. I never saw myself as very good. The art was just something that I did because I liked it. But people like my dad, those were the real artists. And I thought those were the coolest people ever. And somewhere along the line, probably high school, where everyone's dreams go to die, I just stopped drawing, stopped doing any type of art. Just somewhere along the way, since I always had the idea in my head that, oh, I'm not good at this, somewhere along the way it was like, okay, now I need to focus on real things. And it wasn't a conscious decision, but it's just something that happened. Like, if I'm not good at this, I'm not going to keep doing it. And even the thought of like having hobbies, that wasn't something that I kept up with. So art just fell by the wayside. And literally from the time of high school up until now, which has been a lot of time, with like 10 years, I haven't done anything art related. After college, I learned how much I loved writing, and that's when I really got into, writing my novel, writing screenplays, and I learned that that was something that I wanted to do. But now I'm kind of rediscovering that I really love art. And there was a quote, and I can't remember who it was by, but it said, your passion is what you would do if no one's looking. Like, if the world ended today, would you still be doing the thing? Like, Van Gogh would still be making paintings. Stevie Wonder would still be writing songs, even if no one was around. Would you still be doing your thing? And I was like, screenwriting? Would I still be screenwriting if the world ended? I don't know about that. But drawing? Heck yes. That is 100% yes. And I can just tell that it's something that I've wanted for so long, just because when I do it, I feel at peace, like completely calm, like nothing else in the world matters except this thing that I'm working on right now. It's such a strange feeling because it's really like a craft, a task, you're really working to improve yourself, but it's the most calming thing in the world. It doesn't stress me out at all. I can completely zone out. I've heard of this thing called flow state, where when you're doing something, you just completely get lost in time and it just melts away. And that's how I feel every single time I sit down to draw. So I've just been thinking about that over the past month and a half, and realizing there's nothing else that I want to do and nothing else that I've ever wanted to do. All this rambling, really, to say, I've been putting a lot of thought into what I want to do with my life, and seriously considering changing what I was shooting for, which is kind of scary to do, because I have this channel and I've been talking so much about how I want to be a writer and telling everyone who would listen that I want to be a writer. So then at this point it feels like, am I really just going to change my mind like that? It makes it seem like I don't know what I want, like I'm waffling, like I just have no idea what's going on, to sound so convicted and then just change my mind. Didn't really want to do that for no good reason. But at the same time, I'm realizing now what I've been missing the entire time. So I have no choice but to completely change my mind and say, my goal is no longer to be, well, I still want to do writing, but really my main focus is to be a full-time artist. I really want to build myself up to the point where I can actually create these full-sized works, put them up in galleries, sell them online, and really just make a living completely doing art. Not something I'd ever thought I'd say or really truly consider, but thinking back to the time even when I was a kid seemed like an absolute dream. And I realized I've been wanting this the entire time and just really didn't have the confidence in myself to believe that that was for me. But now I do. So that brings us to now, to what I've been doing in this period since I started drawing. And that has really just been drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing like crazy, trying to improve. My goal is really to get to the point, obviously, like I just said, to become a full-time artist. And I know to do that, I need to improve like crazy. And I feel like I'm making up for so much lost time, like all those years in high school, all those years in college, all those years since then that I could have been improving. I missed all that. So now I'm kind of playing catch up, but I have a whole life. Like I have all the time in the world, so it doesn't really matter. I just know that I want to improve. So this is going to be a little bit of a time capsule to show how far I've come so far up to this point. I really want to make these tiny little video catalogs because I think art is something that we see as innate, when in reality, you take the little bit of talent that you have, combine it with the love of the thing that you have, and put hours and hours of practice into really crafting your craft. It's called a craft for a reason. It's not something that just pops up out of thin air. So this is going to be a time capsule to show that, so I can look back on later. But without further ado, this is the timestamp. We are going to be looking at the art pieces that I've done. I'm going to be looking down because I have the art in my hands. There's going to be a close-up for you guys so you can actually see what's going on. So if I look down, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm looking here, okay? So the very first piece I did, like I said, I just did this on a whim. I was doing one of my little self-dates and I decided I wanted to try charcoal drawing because I have always loved looking at charcoal art, and I had the idea that I just wanted to buy some for my house. But I was like, why not try it for myself? And this was the first thing I did, and it turned out, for not having drawn in 10 years, really good in my opinion. And I was very excited to try more. So this was October 25th. The very next day, I did this drawing, and as you can see, it didn't quite turn out. It looks a little bit like a skeleton, a little bit like a zombie. I really messed up the back here, and I tried to fix it by doing this huge wash of color on the bottom, and that didn't work either. This was kind of a mess. But the next day after that, I drew this woman with her head to the sky. And already you can see this is much better. The hair didn't try at all. There's some harsh lines going on in the face. I don't know what's going on with the chin, but it was improvement all the same. So where I went after this is a huge bump in improvement in my style. So this was the first full face I did after the first one, and I already talked about this one in my previous video. I was so excited about this. Looking back now, there's a lot of harsh lines where I outlined where the shadows and the highlights should be, which shouldn't be there. But really getting better with the pencils, with using the pencils. This was a huge leap forward, and this was October 31st. Alright, so the very next one, this was November 1st. This is an even bigger leap in my drawing skill. And with this one, I actually tried a new technique that I saw online, which was using a paintbrush to actually shade. And I really love the texture on the skin, especially the face that you could see I was able to get with that paintbrush technique. I love the way this one turned out. There are definitely some spots that I needed to fix. Like, I don't know what's going on with her lips. Why it's so dark at the top and she has little chipmunk teeth. And the hair, I really didn't try too much. Like, you can see all the little pencil strokes there. But overall, this was really great with that paintbrush. Really great improvement here. So after that, so if you guys aren't familiar, SZA is an amazing singer, and I am actually in love with her. And when I first saw the video for Hit Different, that final piece, that intro to Good Days, where she's sitting there with the braids, the beads, I was watching that thinking, this whole scene is a piece of art. And this was before I started drawing, but I was just like, this is art. So as soon as I started drawing, I was like, oh, I need to do that scene. And that's what I did. So this piece I did November 3rd. It was surprising for me because it took so long. The other pieces that I'd done, all of them took around 2 hours. This one took about 5. And it's because in addition to the face, there's so many tiny details that I had to do. So there were the fingers, there were the beads, there were the braids, and there was the face. And on her fingers she had jewelry as well. So each one of those pieces took a huge amount of time that I wasn't really ready for. So this one was, I would say, a leap in terms of my patience. And I sat there half the day and finished this one up. But I still really like the way this came out. So after that we have just another face. I saw this on Pinterest. No, I saw this on Tumblr. This, I really did not, I wasn't a fan of it. The face was fine, but then the hair, there's just nothing going on here. And at this point I realized, okay, I really need to focus on the hair. And now that I'm even looking at it, kind of the face looks washed out too. There really needed to be some darker darks in there to give it more dimension. So this one was one I feel like I didn't put as much effort into. So I was not a fan of this. I really wanted to improve on hair and then dimension in the skin. So the very next one after this is November 4th. You see I'm starting to work on the hair. So we get a lot more highlights and lowlights in the face, and then the hair has a ton of body. So still kind of that pencil-y strokes that where you can really see all the lines I put down, but much better than the picture before it. Right after that, this is one of the best pieces I've done. I was so excited about this. So this was November 22nd, and this is a picture of Tyra. This one, I love that it's so big, that the face is so big on the page, because I really was able to go in and do a lot of the detail work that I was finding hard with the smaller faces. Really having gradual changes between the shadows so that you get more depth and dimension. And then the hair as well. This one, I think it could have been blended out a little bit more, but you can really tell, like in the photo, she's dripping wet and her hair is all wet. And I think even here you can see that that's what the hair is supposed to be doing. So I was very excited about this, still very excited about this one. So after this, we have Thanksgiving. I went on a kind of a spree of just working on drawings every single day during my Thanksgiving break. This first one, not much to say about it. I like it. What I really like here is the nose. I'm not exactly sure why, but just looking at it, similar to the ear, just looking at the shadows and the highlights, like you can tell it's a nose and there's not too much pencil strokes going on. It's more the shadows that are building that image in the eye. So really like the way that turned out. The hair was okay, still needs work. And in particular, the lips here, there's not enough, like I said before, dimension. So it kind of looks like she just has caged bars as lips. Like the whole thing is just this matte gray with pencil lines, and it doesn't really look like you can see her teeth, you can see the shadows, you can see her lips. It all kind of blends together. So that was something I was like, okay, I need to work on that for future ones. Now this one. So hear me out, you guys. I was really wanting to try natural hair, and the bottom portion I think I really got the hang of, but the photo that I was working with cut off the top of the head, and I was like, she needs more hair there. So I tried to just freehand it from my own memory, and clearly she has a mullet here. It didn't work. So needed to work on that, obviously. The rest of it looks fine, and I fixed the problem with the lips here where there weren't dark enough shadows, light enough highlights. I think the lips look really good. Just needed to work on the hair. Now, right after that, and this is the solid month point from when I first started drawing, this is a piece that I think brings together all the elements that I have been working on. So we get really good hair work here, really good shadows on the face, the nose and the lips look amazing. The skin looks really good. I think everything that I've been working towards for the entire month really all came together in this picture. This is one of my favorite ones that I've done. Obviously still some places that I could improve. There's some more blending that needs to be done in the hair to make it more gradual, make it all look more cohesive. I think the shadow under the chin needed to be a little bit more blended out. But overall, night and day looking from my first drawing to this drawing. Final one I want to talk about, just to show the natural hair work, is this one. It's a little bit outside of the month improvement timeline. This was December 4th, but I really love this one because one, the natural hair on it looks really good, in my opinion. A lot of improvement from the first one I did. And really, this was the first picture I did with a background. I love the way the natural hair blends into that gray in the background, and the whole thing just looks so much more cohesive with that shading added. So this was one I was just really excited about and wanted to show as well. So that's been all the drawing that I've done kind of in this month period. As you can see, just looking at it, I mean, you could have literally put me on mute. You don't have to hear me talk about the drawing process, but you can see looking at it, like how much the work has, I keep saying improved, but what other word is there? Has gotten better over time. And I can only imagine if I keep working at this pace, what levels I could reach in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. So I'm very excited about just seeing where everything goes, how my style develops. Yeah, I have so much more to say on this topic, and I'm trying not to make this video an hour long. So I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me as I make all my crazy changes over time. And I really hope you enjoyed this. I will see you guys next time. Oh, and before I go, I am... my next video is going to be what I always do at the end of the year, an updated New Year's resolution vision board for the upcoming year. And this one's going to be really exciting because I've had so many changes in this past year with just myself, what I want for myself. So it'll be very different, I think, from the goals I've set in the past for what I want for these upcoming years. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.